Hello and welcome to another video, or the first video or the last video for our Project Life Simply Documented class this week. So this week's going to be a little bit different. I'm not sure exactly how many videos I'm going to be filming, and I'm filming them all over the place. So you guys will have to have patience with me. I can't quite say at the end of the video, go to the next video, or like where we are within the content, because this week I'm really wanting to share with you guys some things that I feel like maybe we've like overlooked, or I haven't had time enough to share with you, or sometimes I've been diving into the projects and the topic for the week, and what has happened is I have skipped over something that maybe I then look back and think is important. So I'm also sorry if maybe I repeat a few things. You might hear things a couple times because of the way I'm like diving in and filming these videos. So this video is going to be a look at like an in progress week, or my album is in progress, and there's like some things that I want to share with you guys. Previously, when I've been sharing with you in my album, it's been very directed at something specific. Like, okay, here's my, title page. So that's like what we're focusing on. Or here's foundation pages that I'm setting up. What I want to share with you now is sort of the way it looks like kind of every day. Like when my album is open and I'm working on it throughout time, like what does that look like? Because as we've talked about different ways that we can set up our album to have systems and to keep, maybe on top of things, there's still some stuff that will be in the middle of making things work, right? So as always, it's a little bit hard for me to get the entire spread in my camera frame and get you guys close enough where you can see everything, but we're just going to do the best we can. So my title page is all done, and I don't know if you guys have seen that yet or not, because I just recently got the photos, and I feel like every single time I'm on camera with you guys, I'm fussing with these numbers. I do not like that they slide around. It's just a personal preference type thing that I'm realizing I wish maybe they didn't just float in the middle there. Some of these like will stick to the page protector, and I like that. The 8 never seems to move. But this is the way that this first part looks. I did have my stamping done, and then I think I'm going to leave this. It's this handwriting portion that I thought maybe I would change. And then I don't know if I'm going to add anything to that. But what I did get is my photos for the other side here. These are photos right here that I took when we were out at a restaurant, and I snapped these photos. And then this was a photo that I snapped a couple, probably 3 or 4 days later, of myself. And so they don't necessarily all match, but they are perfect for all of the people, in our family. So the kids are right here, and then I liked this photo that I was kind of looking up. I thought that worked out really good. And then on this side, I have the 3 photos of like where, like our house. There's one of the front of our house, so looking onto the porch and into our yard with bikes in it and the wagon. And it's not, perfect. I didn't clean up to take it. It was just a really beautiful day, and I snapped the photo. And then this photo is from the porch looking out. Like looking out this way, and then this photo is from the porch like looking out that way. So it's kind of a couple different perspectives. So I like the way that that came out. And then all of January is pretty much finished. There's 2 sticky notes in here, and for the life of me, I cannot find the photos. So I just did that. Today would be Tuesday, so I uploaded photos, and that photo, that sticky note that you saw right there, and then this sticky note right here, I cannot find those photos. I don't know what happened. I think maybe this one I ended up putting into a 3x4, but I don't know. So I do need to figure out what I'm going to do for those photos. I think those photo spots, I think maybe I'll just put journaling cards. I'm really... this usually does not happen to me where I can't find a photo, and I have taken very specific photos the last few months, so I don't even have any like extra photos that I can just put in there, meaning all the photos that I've taken have literally been like on the 14th of January, the only photo I took was this photo. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but that's just the way my photos have gone. This photo right here is 3 photos, but it's of the same event. So it's not necessarily like I would put this photo here and then maybe on another day. I might put like 2 photos next to each other that are the same event. But for whatever reason, I just have not been taking a lot of extra photos. So I need to figure something out. I have an insert here. This was where those photos were taken for our little family day out where we celebrated Kayla's birthday. So I just have some journaling to do, and I dropped these photos in, and then I'll do some stamping on there. I was like kind of an afterthought. So here we are in February, and you're going to see that there's lots of sticky notes because that's what I'm in process with. So I got photos printed today, which would be Tuesday. I will pick them up tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, and then you guys will be seeing this footage on Thursday. So what will happen is on Thursday or Friday, my photos will be sitting by my album, and I will be able to drop all of these photos in. But I wanted to show you kind of how it looks when it's sitting here. So the other thing is that when I have my album open here, and it sits on my desk, and the other day I had like 5 minutes, and so I was pulling some embellishments out, and what I'm going to do is kind of going to move my album around, and we're going to zoom in a little bit here. So what I did is this was sitting open, and what I was doing was I was putting all these sticky notes down. So I had my sticky note and my pen, and I had my phone, and I was making notes of where everything was, and I had probably about 10 minutes, and I literally was just standing at my desk where everything was, and I pulled out some circle embellishments because I have this photo here. So this photo is of the super blue moon that we had at the end of January. And so this is some facts. Now this I just pulled off the internet. So it was a super blue blood moon that happened. And this happened on January 31st. And it was, there was a super moon in November, which I actually did document in our Project Life album. And then it's like all this stuff that happens like between November and between the end of January when this other super moon happens, I thought was really interesting. So I pulled this off the internet because it's something that is unique and it doesn't happen all of the time. And then this was a photo that was on Facebook, and it was one of the news outlets posted this photo, and you can see there's the Statue of Liberty. Clearly I don't live in New York, but this was what it looked like in New York. So I pulled that photo by just doing a screenshot, and then I put these photos together. So this is the actual photo that I took on that day. So this was the 31st of January. It was a Wednesday, and we had ducks that ended up in our yard from across the street. And so I had snapped that photo. So all 3 of these photos I put together. These 2 are more not personal photos, so they're not photos where it's like our family or our story or anything, but it's stuff that's happening. And I just thought this was very interesting, and I have been reading up on it and just some of the things that were taking place because of it. And so I thought it was fun to include this, and then I included a photo of like what was really happening. Now, if I had another photo maybe that I wanted to capture of the moon, like maybe I had taken a photo or something, I could have put that here. And then this photo I could have used for this day. So that's something that like I really want you guys to understand that I do, even though I'm following a weekly basis and I'm following like this was Wednesday the 31st and this is what was happening. If I needed to or I wanted to, I could totally use this photo and put it here, and you know, I juggle things around and make them work for my album. So what started this spark of maybe inspiration was the fact that I saw these 2 circles, and so it really made me want to use some other circles in this for this week. So that makes it easy because I'm just looking for one embellishment and I'm feeling like it's going to balance things out. So I actually had gotten a kit from Allie Edwards this last week, and funny enough, the kit was about, the theme of the kit is fabric. And I was on Allie's message board and I had said, you know, I really wasn't you know, I wasn't thrilled over the theme of the kit. Like it's okay. Like it's okay for us not to like something. It's okay for it to not to be our favorite thing. And I had just said, like, of all the kits that we've done, this maybe is not my favorite, but I always know that Allie will, her content and her story ideas and her videos always spark something, and I love watching her, and I love the ideas and stuff that come, so I don't mind getting a kit that I don't necessarily love. But it was funny that I ended up using several of the pieces of that kit in this week. Like right after I had said that, I felt like maybe it was karma coming back to bite me. Like, you said you didn't like this kit, or maybe you wouldn't use it, and here you are using it this week. So as I go into February, I'm using the kit from Stampin' Up! That is, let me see if I can show you guys. Okay, so right here. These are the Petal Passion Project Life cards, and then the designer paper. And so my theme or my color scheme for the month is pink and black and white. And so that's kind of what is already laid out because, right, we've set up foundation pages. So here, the kit that I got from Allie is in blues and purples, and there's some pinks in it. So it may feel like it's not necessarily something that would work for my album. But actually, what I want to point out is I'm not so rigid that I don't allow things to mix. Now, I'm a matchy-matchy kind of person. I love things to match. It's why foundation pages, the way I set them up, it's why that works for me, because that's what I'm drawn to and that's what I like. In this case, some of the cards were in this blue, and I just went ahead and I went with it. It's not so horrible that, I mean, really, no matter what you're doing, it doesn't look horrible. It's what you like. It's what you're drawn to. Just give yourself permission to use what you want to use. There are no rules when we're doing this. We're just doing this for fun. This is a fun thing that we're doing that connects our feelings and our life and our stories all in one place, and nothing has to be perfect. So I really don't want you guys to get into a place where you feel like when you're looking at my spreads or you're online and you're looking at inspiration that things have to be a certain way. They can be whatever way you want them to be. So the really fun thing is that this theme that I had got this kit with was fabric. And I actually had several pieces in this week that it worked really great. So what I did is I started pulling out circle embellishments. So this is from that recent kit from this week that says the fabric of our lives. I pulled out this chipboard piece and it says love this. I went over here and I have this half piece that says big love. So now here's a perfect example of me not even really paying attention to things being like, quote, perfect. So here in this spread, I have a circle that says love here, and then I have a circle that says love here. Now, the reason that I didn't realize this is because I have an insert page. I have a, this is a divider, and then I have my calendar that sits. So as I'm working and I'm flipping this over, I'm not realizing what is what, right? So that's a moment where you could say, well, that's, you know, maybe I wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't use that circle twice, or use the word love twice, or, you know, maybe it clashes, or it's not correct. But that's a moment where I was pulling out and using what I wanted to use. So I pulled out, this was a circle and I just cut it off on the bottom. This was a half circle, and so I put it there. And then here is a photo that I need, which I did get printed. I sent it to get printed today. And then I have this circle right here that I'm thinking about using on that photo. So this says just breathe. So I was thinking about using that here. So a couple of the other embellishments that I pulled out during that brief time that I had, I did those circles, and then this was, again, part of that. All of these chipboard pieces are from Allie's products. They're chipboard that I had. You guys saw I have a lot of chipboard on hand. So I don't know if this was from the fabric kit or not, but it was this pink, which I thought went really well. So this one says for the love of family, and it's with our family dinner, and it's pink, and it does not match perfectly. Like this pink, it's actually really not even close, but it works. Then I have this pink and this chipboard, which is actually much brighter. And then this card right here says, relationships create the fabrics of our lives. They are the fibers that weave all things together. And that's a quote, and it came from that kit. So this is a little bit of pink. It has like a pinkish, to it, the letters are. So I used that. I pulled out the card that I had here, and you guys look at that all black Project Life card. I'm telling you, I'm very drawn to that right now, and I'm loving the way that that looks in my album. And then I have this one. Now this has some green to it. So again, my color scheme started kind of going all wonky, but I wanted to use this. It said threads, things that keep us all together. And it's this picture of this laundry that I had snapped. And so it worked. And the color theme is one of those things, again, like I'm just letting go. I'm just like, it works. I did pull out this Hello Story because this card was kind of the same creamy color as this card right here. I know the lighting is a little bit wonky too right now, you guys, but hopefully you're picking up a little bit of that. So this card and this card tend to pull each other together, and then this has some of that blue, which will pull from here. So again, I feel like it's pretty balanced, and when you look at it overall, I feel like it's somewhat balanced. I moved some of the cards around. This card right here was in this spot, and I took it out and then moved this card out and just balanced my stuff through the middle here to make me feel a little bit better. I feel like my date card really stands out because it's bright white, and then I have these cream cards. But again, right, we just, like, we move on, and it's totally fine. I've not done any of my journaling, and so really that's all the time I had. That's all the time I had in that moment of pulling out these few chipboard pieces and putting those on. I put a meaningful one right here. I was going to put a circle, but then I realized that if I put a circle here, which was my original plan, it would cover up some of the text that was already on this, which was the whole reason I pulled this from the internet, was because of all of these facts. So I went ahead and I just put this chipboard, which is this little black piece, and it says meaningful. And again, I was trying to pull in the black, and then I'm allowing myself to understand right when I'm looking at this photo, or anybody else that's looking at it, that it's 3 different photos, that there is some division created right away, so your eye realizes, oh, whoa, there's, you know, several photos there. So that's all I had time for in that moment, and I just left it and walked away, and I had gotten my goal in that 10 minutes was to get all of these sticky notes into my album so that I knew that I had photos for everything. And then the other goal that I had was to get this page protector pulled for Project 18, which I will be talking about. So I wanted to be able to do this. So I grabbed that, I put a sticky note on that, and then with the remainder few seconds that I had, I kind of started pulling some embellishments because I had an idea that sparked. Okay, so that was kind of like in the moment, in progress, like 10 minutes. That was last Friday, I believe, is when I had that few minutes, okay? So now it's Tuesday, so, you know, 4 or 5 days later, I just uploaded my photos for all of this stuff, and I actually probably have a couple more photos, so, and I actually don't think that I printed this one, but I probably have... I do. I have a photo from yesterday that I printed because this would be Monday, and then today is Tuesday, so this would be my photo for today, and it's early in the morning. I haven't taken a photo yet. Oh, I did take a photo actually, but I just didn't get it printed. How funny that I went to say that and then realized I did. I actually do have a photo for today that I've already taken. My husband was cleaning up outside, and he had a burn pile where he was burning some stuff, and I took a photo of that. So I do have this photo, And then this photo's already been taken. So you can see that now, like I'm caught up to where we are for the day, right? Like, you know, for the space that we're in. And then project 18. Oh, so this was the 18th, and then this is going to be an insert for this week, and I'll be talking about that. So you can see that I had 10 minutes on Friday. I did that. I had a few minutes this morning. I uploaded my photos. When I get those photos, they'll kind of sit at my desk until I have a chance to get them into my album. So that's kind of a look at what is in progress. So the last time when I had dropped in photos, I had realized that I had missed this photo. I did find this photo and get it printed. And one of the things that happened and why I missed this photo is because when you have Apple products, so I have an iMac, I have a Mac, a Mac Air, and then I have my iPhone, and all of those items are synced together. And so what happens is when one device needs to be updated, all my photo stream stops working. So all of a sudden I'll go in to print photos and upload photos, and I'll be like, why don't I have my most recent photos? So one of the things that happened was today when I went, I was like, why did I miss this photo? Like, I got all of my photos printed, so there's a problem that this photo was missing. So I went and I realized that my computers needed to be updated, so I had to stop and do that. So that's a little snag in my workflow, but it's also something very real that happens. Sometimes you have those snags, if it's printing photos or picking them up, or, you know, maybe you've sent them to get printed and then you thought you were going to be where they were, and, you know, maybe it's a week and a half later and you're like, oh, I never picked up those photos. Like, I got to go do that. So these things happen. Snags happen. And what I realized is instead of getting frustrated this morning, I just like updated everything. I took the 30 minutes that it took to update everything, shut everything down, restart everything, sign back into everything, like the whole thing. And then the other thing is that for whatever reason right now, Snapfish is not communicating with Walmart. So this happened at the beginning of last year as well. I don't know if it's a yearly thing where maybe their contract is being reviewed or something, but when I went to upload, I uploaded everything to Snapfish and went to get it printed, and it didn't give me the option to print at Walmart. So I had to go to walmart.com, sign in, upload my photos there, like, right? Like, there were things. So I just did it all this morning, and I was like, okay, it's time to focus on this and just get it done, and I totally did. And so now my photos are ready to be picked up, and I have that photo. So the other thing you can see is that I've left a couple notes on here. If there's ever a photo where I'm like, I'm not sure which story I wanted to tell, like I snapped a photo, but then I'm like, okay, but why did I do that? I'll leave the sticky note. And this was actually just trying to finish up taxes. I spent like 2 days in a row doing nothing but taxes. And so this was the morning before our appointment, and we were both trying to, like, my husband was home and he was trying to help me finish up taxes. And so I want to tell that story because there's just some, you know, a bigger story about our taxes this year that is both exciting and somewhat concerning. That sounds horrible, but so there's just like a story that I want to tell, that I want to remember this moment where we were like, oh my word, that's amazing, but taxes suck. So that's just an honest moment, you guys. So that's why this sticky note is here, because that's the story I want to tell. I don't want to just be like, we were doing taxes and it was boring. Like, I want to tell a deeper story behind that moment. So then in here, I have a screenshot. Now these two I put together, and then I sliced them apart, and then I knew that I would put them in these pockets. So here was the Super Bowl Sunday and who won, and I just thought it was, he actually posted this like kind of funny meme about it, and so I snagged that from his Facebook page. And that is a way, again, to get his voice into the album. I'm not a fan. I'm not a football fan. Like, I mean, I'll watch it. It's fine if it's on and it's, you know, somebody's watching the game. Like, I don't mind it, but I don't follow it. And so my husband is funny because he has all these thoughts and feelings about football. And so I thought it was really funny that he posted this. And then it's just that way to get his funny sense of humor and his voice into my album without me saying like, hey, can you write on this journaling card all about your feelings about the Super Bowl? Like, I mean, he probably would because he knows I'm crazy, but it's right, like one thing that I can show his personality and hear his voice in our album. That's just me kind of doing that. And then the other thing that I put in here was this screenshot from The Rock, who I love. I think he's very inspirational. I actually was sort of guilted into like following him and watching his stuff for a while, and then I found that he's this super amazing, inspirational person that I just love. He's very positive and I just love following him on social media. And a friend had said to my husband and I, you guys should see Jumanji. And I had actually had no desire to see it. I didn't see the first one until after we saw the one in the theater. And the first one, like, that's a couple hours of my life I'll never get back. It was very disturbing to me. I'm glad I didn't see it when I was younger. But I loved the Jumanji that The Rock was in here recently. I cannot wait for it to come out on DVD because we're buying it. My husband and I went in December when it had opened up, and we laughed so hard. It was so fun. And so because I follow The Rock, I've been all wrapped up and seeing how his little Jumanji movie is doing, and he's, you know, excited about, you know, it being #1 and, you know, doing really well. And so I had to get this printed out, and I just want to kind of tell that story. That's a little bit of a longer story, but it's something that, you know, I follow him and I'm excited about his, you know, movie doing well, and I just want to be able to tell that. And I think it's fun to look back. Not only is it like more of a personal story for me because I follow him from a business perspective, like that's why I follow The Rock. He's very inspirational. He works very hard. He talks a lot and inspires me very much in a business realm. So that is, of course, a more personal story for me. But how fun is it just to see that this movie came out? I mean, this will be a classic someday, right? Like when my kids are adults, they'll be like, oh my God, like that movie, it's so old, right? So how fun to feature that in my album as something that is not only going on, you know, in the world, but in entertainment and in the media. And definitely these are actors and actresses that, you know, will go on to do things and may not go on to do things. But looking back, it'll be really fun to see this glimpse of that part of life, right? So that's another reason that I've included that. So you can see that there's lots of different stories that are happening within this week, and some of them are just directly related to things that are going on in our house, and some of them are things going on in the world. So here is a photo. Again, there were some things that didn't get printed when I last printed this. Kayla and the Good News Club, and then the Olympics, that did not get printed, and I think I probably printed right around here, and then I didn't have these next photos. But these I definitely did, but they got missed printing. So then the next week, so what I'll do now, I don't really start embellishing until I have all of my photos. So what I can do is I can finish embellishing this and then maybe even do the journaling if I'm feeling so inclined. But this week I won't do anything until all the photos are in, and then I'll do some embellishing, or I can, sometimes I'll do that when I'm dropping photos in, and then same with this. Once I start dropping the photos in, then I can do the embellishing. This is an insert. This is Project 18. This is something that I'm going to be doing a live workshop on and talking about, but basically Project 18 is this thing that I follow on Instagram. I don't really know exactly who it is that does it. I came across it and I thought it was a fabulous idea. And it is taking 18 pictures on the 18th of the month, every single month, and there's a theme involved with it. So I didn't do it in January because I didn't know about it, but for February, the theme was color. And so the idea is that you take 18 photos during the day of things that are colorful or color or, you know, different things in your life. And then you tell those stories, right? So there'll be a different theme every single month. And I'm going to be talking about this in my live workshop for March about inserting things into the middle of my weeks, and then particularly this particular project, my thoughts on it, and what how I feel about it. I think it's fabulous. It's very hard to take 18 photos during the day. It just, for me, it really is. Maybe it will be different with different topics, but it's definitely something that I feel like pushes me outside my comfort zone and makes me think. And I'll share more thoughts on that in my live workshop for March, which has already been scheduled. And so that will be here. And then you can see we're almost into March, which is really crazy. And so I'll be wanting to wrap up February and make sure I get all that journaling done. Like, I will probably spend a chunk of time on it maybe this weekend, since I will have the majority of my photos. And then I'll give you guys a look at that maybe next week if I get that finished. So that's kind of the way my album looks and the way I work, as you know, going through the days and the weeks and getting photos printed and taking photos and managing it in real time, I guess, is what I really want to leave you guys with, is that that's kind of how it works for me. Like in real time, it's sitting out, and these are the things that I'm adding and the things that I'm working on. So hopefully that helps you guys. I'm going to fill out, I'm going to drop these photos in, and then another video we're going to do this week is I'm going to dive in and actually show you guys where and how I'm embellishing. So we'll pull out some more of my some embellishments. I know somebody asked about this and said, can you really like maybe focus on where you're putting things and why you're putting them there, and what kinds, you know, I did an overview of the things that I use, but maybe more of a personal look when I'm actually putting them in there. So that will be a video this week too, so you guys can look for that. And then let's either dive into the next video or wrap it up for the week, or wherever we're at with this content. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will catch you in our next video.